Hi folks, the Filipina P here. Now most of you know that your money stretches a lot further in the Philippines, but would you be considered wealthy there? What if you're just living off a meager pension? Would your income still impress a Filipina? Well, today, we're gonna go ask them. Exactly how much money do we think you actually have? And would we pretend to like you just to get it? So it's no surprise that a lot of you guys say you feel like a milking cow in the Philippines. And it seems like everyone's trying to find a way to get their hands in your pockets. But do we really think foreigners are all rich?
Yes, I think so. Because most of them dress very well. You look really clean. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think so. They just have a bigger value of money, so maybe that's the reason why they can afford to stay here, and they have a different cost of living. Not all of them are rich, so yeah.
There are some foreigners who are rich and there are some who are just average wage earners.
I think by the moment that they were born, they probably have money on their bank account already.
I have a stepfather, foreigner, so he's not that rich, but he is able. I can say that he is able. He has money to provide for himself and for the family, and for me too.
Most foreigners who come to the Philippines are financially stable. Their assets or their money, it's higher than here in the Philippines.
Okay, although some of us assume you're rich, it sounds like we realize not all of you are as wealthy as Elon Musk. But where do we think your wealth comes from? Did you actually earn it through your hard work? Were you born with silver spoons in your mouths? Or does it come from your government?
Most of the foreigners that I see are already of old age. So maybe it came from their the retirement money. Yeah, pension.
I think it's a mix of everything. Because the people I know in the United States, they work very hard, and it's not hard for them to look for jobs. And also, they receive financial support from the government. Well, only for their kids, not for the adults. But yeah, it lessens the burden.
Usually from the stories that my mother told me, because she's working in immigration, so she handles with lots of foreigners and all. Most foreigners, they they have work before coming here. Most of them have money because they have jobs, and most of them are supported by their governments.
I do think that they do work hard for it. Um, I've seen a lot of them own their own business.
Well, I think their government has support for them, like pension, such as that, or retirement fund, like that, and savings. They have savings.
So according to those answers, most of us understand that you guys work your butts off and that the money you have came from the sweat of your own brow. We also credit your government, but the way the answers were phrased, it sounded like they thought your monthly pensions are some kind of generous gift, and they might not understand that the government is only giving your own money back to you. Money you already earned yourself. Now here's a fun one. Let's ask them how much they think you have in the bank.
For me, they at least have a 4 to 5 digits dollars in their bank accounts, generally speaking. 10 to 15,000 dollars.
Maybe a rough estimation of that would be at least 500,000 pesos on their bank account, because I feel like with that kind of money, they would already be confident enough to travel to another country, given the expenses for like the plane ticket, even the costs for accommodation here in the Philippines, and even for their daily expenses. Since I think most of the foreigners come here to the Philippines to like stay for more than a month or so.
Hmm. I think um okay, just no, average, just average. I think I won't underestimate them. So like 6 digits. I think. I think.
I think let's say they have like $5 to $10,000.
$50,000.
Probably around 500K.
Wow, I'm kind of surprised. I expected to hear some ridiculously high numbers, but there was nothing over 100,000. Well, if that's all they think you've got, surely you can't be expected to just give it away. Do we still think you're generous with your money?
Um, from my experience, I think they are. I think that they are generous with their money to the to the Filipino community because they see the Filipino community as hospitable and kind and very welcoming to them. So I think that they are just generally generous to give back to what they are experiencing in our country.
Well, I've seen, yes, some of them are. I've seen tourists tipping waiters more than usual or treating their Filipino friends with well prepared food. Yeah, but not all. They all, of course, they also budget and look for cheaper options, just like us. So it really depends on the person.
I think they're much more generous since they have more money compared to the average Filipino citizen.
Yeah, I think they are. And I think it's also kind of natural for tourists, especially if you're in a new country. I feel like you won't really hesitate much to splurge on different things. And I think given that it's also one of the customaries for foreigners to give out tips for business owners, waiters, or like the people they meet on the places they go to, I feel like, yeah, they are generous. And since I also see a lot of content online wherein foreigners are nicer when they come here to the Philippines, yeah, I feel like they are generous.
Well, yes, most of the time. I really see them being very generous with their money. They just give it their money. Uh, I have this person that I know is foreigner, new to our place, that they just throw money around to people. They're dancing and then throw money around. So I think they're generous. The most people I know is really generous.
I would say yes. Like for example, calamity that we had in Cebu. Some of the foreigners who decided to visit in Cebu were capable of buying for the people in Cebu who had lost their money, food, and house supplies. And most of the people who decided to visit there decided to help them.
Yep, I agree. Western foreigners are some of the most generous people on earth. You leave big tips, you help victims of disasters, and you're happy to support families in need. But how is your kindness repaid? Do Filipinos take advantage of your generosity?
To be honest, yes, they are being taken advantage at some point because as we all know that especially airports or other transportation places that foreigners are being charged with bigger fares than the normal.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. I've seen Facebook posts about it where a foreigner was taken advantage, but I couldn't blame to the locals because I think they are also doing it for side hustles. But of course, I'm not tolerating them. Yeah.
Compared to locals, their prices are much more lower compared to tourists.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of incidents because I come from Borongan City, and in like some of the beaches there, they really have a particular cottage fee dedicated for tourists and foreigners. I feel like for us locals, we're only charged 50 pesos for entrance, but for foreigners, they're charged like 800 pesos for entrance. So that's such an exaggerated amount. So yeah, I feel like it's a very common incident here in the Philippines.
Yeah, actually, yes. The sad part here in the Philippines is actually they really take advantage of these foreigners. For example, a tricycle driver, they charge 150 for a few kilometers or even more. People here or Filipinos think that foreigners have a lot of money. So that's why they take advantage because they knew that they have money. So parang like that. They can give me money anytime and they can spend it anytime. So I can take advantage of this person. Like something like that.
If special foreigners are not capable of, let's say, speaking in Tagalog, there are some of them, let's say, when we charge $1, they charge $5. I have seen some of them.
So I personally have seen someone who I was with in the tricycle. I paid the foreigner also saw it. He was an Australian man. He saw me pay 10 pesos for the tricycle, but he paid 30 pesos. Even though we like glorify them so much, when they come to the Philippines, we say, "Wow, I can take advantage of this person That's what I feel.
Yes, I have witnessed it firsthand. I have relatives from the United States, and when we went to Cebu, they were taken advantage of. Filipinos, it's a stereotype that all foreigners have so much wealth that they are being charged unreasonably.
Oh, yes. There are lots of cases where foreigners are taken advantage of by the locals because some locals think that since they're foreigners, they don't know the culture, they don't know the economy or the prices. For example, here in Tacloban, tricycle drivers take advantage of actually not just the foreigners, even the people who came from outside Tacloban. They raise their prices. The perception of the locals here is that the foreigners, all of them have money. Yeah.
Yep, it's called the skin tax. And if you're not careful, you'll end up paying double or triple for anything that doesn't have a price tag on it. So what can you do about it? Well, your best defense is to have a Filipina handle all your transactions. She can save you a bunch of bucks, unlike Western women that end up costing you a bunch of bucks. But so far, the numbers don't seem to be adding up. If you have less than 100K in the bank and you like to give your money away, but you're constantly getting overcharged, then why do we still think you're so wealthy? Well, to solve the mystery, now we're gonna ask the most crucial question. Just how much do you have to make every month to be considered rich in the Philippines?
Here in the Philippines, I think 50,000 pesos for one person a month is really enough to be rich.
I think here in the Philippines, an individual should have a at least 30 to 40,000 income a month to at least provide for herself or for himself.
Maybe 500K monthly, I would say, because I think I will be able to afford vacations abroad.
Per month. I think about 50,000 to be considered rich here in the country. Since it includes, syempre, if we have a family, we need to provide the rent, the utilities. I think 50,000 would be enough.
Here in the Philippines, given the employment options and also given the rate that the government gives in terms of the salary, I feel like for you to be considered rich, you should earn at least 100,000 a month.
I would say 30,000 pesos. Let's say 20,000, 30,000. Because let's say that rent, especially in Manila, is considered high cost compared here in other parts of the Philippines.
40,000 pesos per month for the rent, for the stuff.
80,000 pesos per month to be considered rich.
Wow! Okay, so those numbers were pretty shocking. Can you imagine a Western woman calling you a rich man if you only made $1,000 a month? The women where you live want you to make at least 6 figures, so it's no wonder you feel like a king in the Philippines. But just because we think you're rich, does that mean we want to date you?
Yes. There's no denying to that because girl, a girl needs to live. So yeah.
I think marrying is very personal and involves personal feelings and personal insights. But I think that we should also consider our financial status before stepping to another journey that should be taken seriously. So I think marrying should also incorporate what do we need. We need to be financially stable.
Of course not. No. I would be needing more personality rather than the economic or financial background of a person.
No, personally, no. I need someone to connect with before I marry. Yeah. If we have a connection, that's my standard. If there is a connection, that's my standard. It doesn't matter if they're rich or poor.
No, I don't think so. If like being rich is the only good thing about them, I don't think so. I feel like you should also, I feel like you can still look for other alternatives for your life. But I'm not judging those who do, huh? It's just a personal preference.
Solely because they're rich, I think it's not just the one factor. but I will consider that one factor to be the reason why I will marry someone like that. But it's not just the only factor, ha?
Personally, yes. That is my honest answer. Yes. Though I also would like to say that I would look for their quality and characters. I would also want to be financially supported. If I could give the same financial support, I would also want the same financial support, especially in our current economy and our current problems and calamities. We could not say that we will not need money to survive, because we do need money, especially if you will want to have a family, you will have to marry into a financially capable or a rich family.
Well, yeah, money is important, but the foundation of a relationship should be love and respect. And I don't think it would work if I marry someone who is rich but doesn't respect me.
Yes, I would. I am very open and I don't judge people who marry other people or older people or any kind of people for money.
Okay, well, I appreciate your honesty. Although some of them said that money didn't matter, a lot of them admitted it was definitely a consideration. Now, that might really rub you guys the wrong way, but Asian cultures are often far more practical when it comes to the importance of marrying a man that can provide. The good news is, Filipinas are really affordable. But what if you weren't very easy on the eyes? Would we choose you anyway? What if you were just plain ugly?
No way, no way. Yeah, it's already a bonus if you're rich, but as a lover girl, I would want to look for personality.
I think if they have the charm, it would be okay. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Because for me to find someone attractive, I go for their physical appearance too.
Would I still marry him? Of course, if I love the person, even though he's not really physically attractive and he has money, nothing else matter.
I would still say yes, because I would still say yes because I would still want to be more stable.
It's a common stereotype here in the Philippines that when they see a Filipina marrying a rich, old foreigner, they view foreigners as their saviors, as someone who would lift them up from the slums.
I just need to close my eyes like that. And then you're fine. You'll be good. Yeah.
Okay, we got a few different answers there, with some women claiming that looks didn't matter at all. Some women saying that they wouldn't necessarily marry you for your money, but you still needed to look attractive, and some Filipinos admitting that your cash made it okay to close their eyes and just fake it till we make it. So let's summarize what we just found out. Filipinos do think you're wealthy, but only compared to us. We realize that in your country, you might even be struggling to get by. We know you work hard, but at least your government helps you lessen the burden of your expenses. We know you don't really have all that much in the bank, but to us, it's a pile of gold compared to what we have. And since wealth is relative, we'd like to be your relative, even if you don't look like a movie star. Well, I sure hope you enjoyed this very enlightening episode, and I'll be back on Tuesday with something to make you smile. If you'd like to hang out with me before then, just join me on my Patreon page and come say hello to me in the chat rooms, where we always have fun talking about life in the Philippines. Till then, folks. If you think about it, I'm kind of like your massage therapist, helping you relieve all the stress and worries about life in a new country, and making sure to hit all the trigger points of local culture and customs. The only thing I ask for my service is that you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you're not late for our next session. And please consider becoming a patron so you can see all the extra content and exclusive videos on my Patreon page. And while you're waiting for our next appointment, feel free to check out my other videos too. So, are you ready for your massage? I promise I won't rub you the wrong way. Unless you ask me to.